It's the Daily Talk Show, episode 706.
What's happening, guys? This feels like the future.
This is great.
Wow.
We've got Shannon in Queensland. We've got you boys. You're still in Port Melbourne, surely?
We're driving through South Bank. We're not far off from my son's daycare. I'm just going to grab him while I'm at it.
Can you drop the merch off to Robert, or you don't have it in the car? Because Robert's in South Bank. Okay, that's fine. That's all right. But I mean, Shannon, are you excited about Georgie Boy's Hump Day?
I mean, Wednesday is my second favourite day after Friday, so I mean, very excited. Love it.
How's all the Pilates stuff going? So what does it take to be a Pilates instructor?
Oh gosh, I don't know. You've got to be able to revise a script pretty well. I mean, we're doing around 150 exercises just this week, and you have to teach every single one of them, and then also be taught every single exercise by a couple of different people as well. So, it's a lot of repetition, but that's good. It's it should be good eventually.
Yeah. Have you got a favourite Pilates move?
I'm a reformer girl, so I really like. I don't particularly like mat work. I would prefer to be on the reformer. So anything on the reformer, I really like abs on the reformer, and maybe triceps and inner thigh stuff.
Yeah.
Would have to be my favourite to teach and to take as well. Yeah.
TJ, just so you know, I've muted you, but just wave if you want to talk. Just because you talk. Yeah, go.
I was just going to say, this is what a date would go like using your script, because people would be thinking, well, who are those other guys in the car? And I need an explanation. So you haven't actually set up why Sevs and I are even.
I'm just being. No, I'm just doing the rounds. What, can't Shannon and I have a nice convo?
No, it sounds like a great convo, but I think you're just missing a few dots here.
I don't know. I think maybe because you're in the car, you think it's all about you. But Shannon and I are having a great time about the reform. Do you have a reformer, Shannon? Do you actually have one?
So I went to buy one at the start of sort of between the start of the year and like the end of summer, and all the reformers in Australia are they're just gone since gyms were shut down, and the period just before gyms were shut down where Corona was sort of starting to affect borders and things like that, they just completely got snapped up. So that's pretty annoying, but I actually found a website. This is how desperate I'm getting. I actually found a website recently that has like a full detailed list and plan and actual plans to build your own reformer. So obviously you'd have to be pretty handy on the tools, but my partner's going to give it a go for me. So I'm currently ordering all the parts for it, and he's going to build me one. So that's
great.
The best. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, now TJ, before we get to that, have you ever done Pilates?
No, I've never used a reformer bed. But I've done exercises that are probably from Pilates, but not Pilates specific. I was asking Shannon, I need something for my lower back. I need help. I need an exercise.
I'll prescribe you something. Yes. It's actually really funny because I have been lifting weights for exclusively lifting weights for a couple of years now. I used to enjoy running, but I used to get just really sore hips and must have been terrible technique. And so I turned to weightlifting to really strengthen all my leg muscles and things like that. And I thought jumping on a reformer 18 months ago for the first time, I sort of thought, I can throw around pretty heavy weight and I'm pretty good at weightlifting. And I jumped on a reformer about a year and a half ago, and I swear it's something else. It's hard to comprehend how I can, deadlift 100 kilos, say, and then struggle so much on a specific resistance on a reformer. It really targets really deep and detailed muscles in your body that you just wouldn't use any other time. It's crazy.
I feel
really,
like if I was to get I feel like a reformer, it takes up a lot of space in a house. I feel like you've got to really be committed.
Yeah.
Weren't you going to buy a rowing machine once, Josh?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I nearly did. But I was told not to.
Josh.
Yes.
Josh, am I there? Am I muted or no?
No, you're on. I've just kept you on. Yeah.
Weren't you going to drive to a DHL in Port Melbourne but went to the wrong one?
Yeah, well, so the annoying thing is, I mean, I'm definitely not that guy to go to the wrong one. To be clear, I've got everything dialed in, but
Mate, we went to the wrong computer store.
Yeah. It's the annoying thing about Google Maps is you type in the thing and there's two things, and you go to one thing, it's not the thing. But the annoying thing is I waited 10 minutes to get a park at the wrong one. So that's why I was even more late, because I was waiting for a guy to move. And so anyway, TJ and Sevs, what's the latest? How did you go?
Well, so we went down to the DHL depot. So we got in and we had all our parcels, and we had to scan them into their system one by one. So we had to put on all the labels and everything whilst we were there, and it was sort of good because I had a room that was, you're only allowed one person in the room.
This is exciting. Shannon's got the DHL details.
I can confirm the SMS and the emails are going out to the details provided. So,
mate, I tell you what, the service DHL. So good. Never have I seen that service at Ozpost.
They were
really?
They were packing everything.
Oh, so my suggestion was just not that bad?
It was great. It was very good,
yeah,
Shannon.
They asked if we wanted stickers in there. They were putting them in there for us.
Really?
So
I was caught off guard.
Did you say yes?
I didn't know. Did you say yes to the Snickers?
Yeah. We said yes, yeah.
When you told me, Sevs, that I couldn't come in, what was my face like?
Oh, you were. I can't even describe the emotion because you just got up and left.
Well, I said, so I can't do anything then. And you were like,
and you just walked out.
Well, I couldn't. I gave you the cards because I'd written all the cards for everyone, and then I was just trying to reconcile everything that happened. I was like, are they being rude or nice right now? I couldn't tell. Are you happy or sad? Or I couldn't read the room. I was like, where's Tommy? And I looked over and Tommy's sitting on the couch and sort of it was very confusing.
No, it was great. I mean, that's I reckon that's the best service that I've ever gotten before. Like they were great.
Really? So they were nice?
They're so helpful.
Did they mention me? Did they say what's wrong with your mate?
No, well we did have a bit of banter about you going to the wrong facility. They loved that.
Yeah, they got around it.
Yeah.
Really? Did they say that it happens a lot though? Did it happen a lot?
That's dispatch. What are they saying? That's like head office.
Yeah.
Good courier gear. Yeah. All right. Anyway, if TJ's spewing that we didn't get to his DHL story quick enough, George must be absolutely fuming that the Reformer and DHL has taken over what is normally his episode.
Nah, it's been great. I've been loving it, and you can put off the Hump Day replay a bit longer.
No. I think we'll do it now. The people of the comments, do you want to see today's Hump Day replay? Casey says, can you turn up Sev's audio, please, JJ? No, Sev's is just going to have to talk louder.
Okay.
I could probably bring up your...
No, it's all good. I can talk louder. It's all good.
Are you covering the mic by any chance?
No.
Okay.
He just doesn't talk as loud as me.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone wants it. Real Enkidu says, of course. Gimme, says Jem. Grace says, yes. Oliver says, Sevs is defo cute, which is nice. And anyway, on that note...
Hyped up.
You're hyped up. Any sort of final words, George, before we play? Yeah?
Well, I need to do my Prosecco thing.
Okay.
So I'll do that. It's actually... Okay, so today I'll be drinking the same as last week. Zonnen Familia Prosecco. I got a 3-pack today, $14.
Well, that's good. That gives you a few... What's just happened here? Hang on. How have you guys swapped?
We've just done a rotate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Sorry, George.
That's okay. so I can have the other 2 on Friday night. And it sounded like Tommy and Mace were trying to get sponsorship from DHL because they were just saying how good their service was. I've done 4 episodes of my show now, and I've got an ad. So keep your eyes peeled. I've got a sponsor.
Okay, here we go.
That's all I say.
This is the Hump Day replay by George. Here we go.
It's Georgie Boys Hump Day replay. This week we celebrated our 700th episode.
Episode 700.
And never do that kind of an intro again, mate.
The week started with a classic prank on Mr. 97.
He looks so stressed.
Oh,
I'm so stressed.
Absolute
stitch.
She just burnt Mason.
Having an influencer on the show, Grace, we just had to get her product pick.
Latest purchase under $100.
That's given you the most value.
Yeah.
The pasta maker. It's amazing.
Really?
I don't know why I haven't got one before.
To get store-bought pasta, with the Napoli pasta machine, a couple of eggs, a bit of flour, a few hours, and don't forget that love, you've got yourself a delicious homemade pasta. Bellissimo.
It's so versatile and lightweight. I can even pop it in my bag and take it to my friend's house.
It's just so quick and easy to use. Just a few hours out of my night for a tasty midweek meal.
Spaghetti bolognese, carbonara fettuccine. It's also easy with the Napoli pasta maker. Is that believable? With the 700th episode came a huge announcement.
Put it in your calendars. 7 a.m. on Friday, we will be starting our 24-hour stream.
Oh,
George,
yeah.
play the motion graphics you made. You do your Hump Day replay every week.
A bit of initiative would have been nice, to be honest, George.
At least 24 hours of non-stop content.
Maybe we could do 24-hour shows.
24 hours,
24 hours total on a weekend.
24 hours within that 24-hour period.
Lots of Gronks are keen to get involved, including Ryan John.
Here is the lake that I live across the street from. On Friday, I'm going to be doing 12 laps, which equals a marathon, which means out of the Daily Talk Show host and the Gronk Squad, I will be the superior walker of the group.
Every time Josh brings up that he's such a great walker,
I set out to do 1 million steps in a month. Yes, absolutely. I could outwalk you. No. All right, well, I did a 12K and an 8K.
and then Tom goes, yeah, but obviously Ryan is the better walker.
I contest that you are the better walker, but if it's a bit of gear and you want to play into, I'm happy to do a bit of gear for you.
The 24-hour stream is going to need a full squad effort. Casey had the great idea of selling merch, and Scooter Derek has been instrumental in getting that rolling.
Derek says, get me graphics by tonight.
We decided on a t-shirt and a crew neck jumper.
Just so you know, we hadn't discussed any of that before that show yesterday. Mm-hmm. And since, we've sold a shitload of merch.
Our web designer copped it too. Bree said, you need to apologise to Blage.
And the update is that they'll be completed by tomorrow morning, or what are we looking at?
They're done. They're done.
It's been a milestone week for the Daily Talk Show. We want to thank all the guests who have been a part of it. As always, we love having Gemma Watts on the show.
We've got it. Our first Gronk couple has happened through the show, and that's a beautiful thing.
Mr. 97's better half, Grace.
He definitely provided some level of charm. So I don't think I would do that. I don't know, I guess it's just feels right.
We were inspired by Phoebe Simmons.
We always speak about being a community and a place where women can feel lifted up. It's important to me that my team also feel that they are really supported in everything that they do.
And it was awesome to catch up with new mum and old friend Stacey June.
Ben just put on a song and we danced in the lounge room. And I get teary thinking about it because that's my life. That's the moments. That's what I wanted. That's the things that are incredible.
And also a massive thanks to all the Gronks that got involved this week with suggestions for the 24-hour show, Ryan John for coming up with a challenge, and Scooter Derek, Dion, and While You Sleep for organising all the merch.
Gronkia, get it while it's hot. Gronkia.
Well, that's it from me. I've been Dodgy George. Good night, Australia. Love you.
He's done it again.
Yes. Oh. Well done, George. You're a good man.
Thanks, guys.
The pasta maker ad. I mean, if you're listening to the audio, you've got to go see that. What does Hannah and Chloe say when you ask them to do this shit?
They were straight away like, yeah, let's do it. They didn't really get it.
Question it?
No, they didn't question it.
Do you have to explain the idea?
So I'm happy about that. Yeah, kinda. Yeah, I did. I said, Grace loves her pasta make, which is another reason why Hannah loves Grace, because she loves her pasta maker as well.
Oh, really?
And, do you actually use it, George?
Yeah. Well, not really.
I mean, you have a pie maker as well. What do you use more, the pie maker or the pasta maker?
Yeah, I use probably the pie maker more. Actually, I actually went to get flour to make pasta the other day. I was going to film it and stuff, and there was no flour in Coles at all. Like everyone, like not even a single type of flour. I think that's like the new.
Yeah, it's because
that's
all
the panic
hipsters are baking.
Mm.
All the hipsters are baking bread. You mentioned that earlier in the week, Josh. And also, Shannon probably used up most of it yesterday on that cake she was making.
That was an impressive. Are you? How did you learn to make cake, Shannon? Like, how do you? Because they're pretty primo.
Yeah, it was originally it was just a like a creative thing, just a bit of a stress reliever, really. I like to bake and I like to go to the gym, and the two counteract each other quite well, which is nice. But I don't know, I'm quite a creative person, so and I also like seeing an end result. I'm very driven by like a visual, something that I can sort of have in front of me. So yeah, I like the process from start to finish, and I like the having the creative control over things like that. I only do it for friends and family. I've had a few people ask me if they can like pay for me to make cakes and things like that, but it's like a purely from a sort of love for the craft thing that I just really enjoy doing.
They're so good.
Are we friends and family or no?
Absolutely.
Oh, great.
Absolutely. I mean, I probably couldn't make something up here in Queensland and send it down, but get me in a commercial kitchen in Melbourne and I'll make you guys a cake.
Well, it has to be a commercial.
Sure DHL.
Is it got to be a commercial? Oh, you love DHL. What do you think DHL could do for it?
Oh, you want me to DHL a cake down to you guys?
Yeah.
Well, we saw them. They open every single parcel. They have to go through every single parcel. Like the guy had someone there, and he was like cutting open like a face mask box to look inside to see what was in there. Like they're
so did you make friends? Like, have you added any of them on Instagram or anything, TJ?
Oh no, we're catching up next week. We're no.
But a good banter. No, what is the banter like? You obviously making fun of me. Sound like
he was.
There's drugs in the packages banter.
Yeah.
That's the best find.
Well, I told him that because I said he said, doesn't Ozpost do this? I said, yeah, I send my drugs through Ozpost. They don't do this, and he loved it. It was good. It was good. It was great.
Oh, good.
He was a lovely guy.
That part of the Hump Day replay with all the merch stuff was awesome. The pasta gear was good, but the behind the scenes merch is really cool. It was, I don't know, it was just really good to see you guys hustle and get it done. It was epic.
It's so
Shannon,
we've done.
What was a hustle?
Yeah, go on, TJ.
Yeah, you've also been hustling. Can you run us through your cocktail menu for Friday night that you worked on?
Yeah, of course. So we've got the 3 different options. So I thought I'd do like a vodka-based one, a tequila-based one, and then like your espresso martini. So again, your vodka in there and then also Kahlua. But so we've got the first one is the cut-through Cosmopolitan. Thanks, 97, for the help on naming that one.
That's all good.
Cut-through Cosmopolitan. I thought I'd try and theme them for this particular podcast and for the marathon this Friday. So we've got Cut Through Cosmopolitan, the 24-hour marathon margarita. So that's your tequila margarita. And then
will that be icy? Do I need to crush ice for that one, Shannon?
I mean, it's optional. You can always make like a slushy style margarita, but the classic one, no. The classic one, you'll have ice cubes in your tumbler to cool it down before you serve it. But
well,
no,
this is
none
what
of them
Sevs and I
require
had. Sevs, the night that you said I could date Grace, we were at a Mexican restaurant and we had margaritas.
Wait, who?
Who
Sebs, what did I say?
No, I was there.
You said the night.
No, I was following Josh.
You said the night I could date Grace, but you meant
the night you said I could date Grace.
Sev said I could date Grace, as in he could date Grace.
Oh, I heard that as
Sevs knows what's up. Did you understand, Sevs?
Sorry.
No, I got it, but it did sound a little funny, but I was with you.
I had the reaction.
Sorry.
And so anyway, we had margaritas, but we were slightly upset because they didn't have sort of the slushy. We were expecting a slushy consistency, and so I feel like it would be nice to be able to try and get a little bit of slush, and so maybe I need to get And so
have you got so alternatively, have you got like a Ninja Bullet or a Vitamix or a blender of some description at home?
Yeah. I've got a what's the thing called that I have?
NutriBullet.
You make something with smoothies? Yeah, NutriBullet. Perfect. That's fine. Yeah, I'll send you a DM with the extra details for making your little icy slushy. And then the last one was exclusive Run the Banner espresso martinis.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. I can do the. Tell us about the espresso martinis.
So the espresso martinis are your classic vodka Kahlua espresso shot, and then I garnish mine with the coffee beans like you would get in a bar or a pub, but you don't have to do that. So I'm going to use. I have an espresso machine, so I do just little espresso shots in that. You definitely don't need to have cafe coffee, but if you do happen to go get a coffee on Friday morning, definitely grab and you wanted to make the espresso martinis, grab just a extra espresso takeaway and pop it in the fridge, and
really
be good to go for the night.
Oh, that's a good idea. I love that idea.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Yeah.
Do I ask for a long black? What do I ask for?
No, you want a single espresso shot, depending on how many you want. So if you want just one espresso martini, just get one single espresso shot. If you are going to have two, get a double and then halve it when you go to make your first one.
So we need to be slightly careful because after the Friday night drinks, we're going to have to still do a bunch of hours.
12 hours of content.
And so
and that was what I said. I don't expect you to have all of them. You can just choose one and literally just make one cocktail if you wanted to get involved. So
Gemma was, I think, assuming
why don't you do one each?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. But Gem said, hey.
I'm making all three.
Well, Gem actually said, hey, you've got to, just so you know, you won't be able to get all the booze at once, so you and Bree will have to go on separate trips to Dan Murphy's. She's already worked out the loophole so I can get all the booze at my place.
Because you can't buy all the bottles.
No.
Here we go. Quick question. Is Cointreau, is that a triple set?
Cointreau? Yes. Cointreau. So Cointreau is like a premium. Cointreau is a premium triple set. Yeah.
So you can get cheap
Primo. Ones. Delicious. That's what I'm getting. Yeah, no. You can get cheap ones. Your cheapest triple sec, I think, you can get for like $15 or $20. Like, yeah, super affordable. You can get like, remember the VOC? You can get VOK sort of liqueurs, and they're all pretty cheap. And they do a triple sec of that one. I know, at least at Dan Murphy's they do.
Okay.
Uncle Dan's.
Right.
Perfect. Right. Can I just say, I saw Sevs for the first time in a while in real life. TJ, do you think he's looking older?
Well, his confidence is there.
No, don't you think?
I don't know.
Don't you think he's completely changed?
He's bigger than I thought he was. He's been evolving.
I honestly
like
had the same thought as well, Josh.
Yeah, what did you think?
What was it?
Exactly. You just seemed like a year older, and you're like bigger.
Is it the facial hair? Because I haven't shaved in like a week.
Pep in his step.
I don't know. I appreciate that you wore tracksuit pants to the office.
Really?
Yeah, I put jeans on.
He hasn't been out much, have you?
No.
He said to me, he's like, he was like pointing out people interacting. Like I feel like you haven't seen the real world. No. He's come out. He went into isolation, a child, and he's come out a man.
Yeah, Grace is trolling you about your, in quotation marks, facial hair.
Facial hair.
I mean, we can't see it on the. I guess we have to. Where is it?
There you go.
Yeah, no, that's a
You've
joke.
got that real early 20s male TikTok vibe at the moment with a little bit of, those ones that
pathetic's the word you're looking for. Pathetic.
I mean,
that's it.
Yeah, Nick Callan says Sevs calls that facial hair, which Nick doesn't say a bad thing about anyone, but that sounds like a slight troll. But maybe a little bit of just a bit of bravado as well. Just sort of walking around the office like he owns the joint.
I mean, everybody's sort of come to see the little bit of attitude lately, so might be stepping into his own, Mr. 97.
Have you noticed the attitude, Shannon, as someone who listens? Yeah,
absolutely, it's the best.
What's the attitude? Where do you see it?
Personality. Oh, yeah, that's great. Get bored.
I know we're all shocked. Here we were like it's.
I'm equally shocked, but amused and delighted. Let's say delighted. Bring it on, 97. More personality, more attitude.
Josh, when was the first episode that Mr. 97 was on?
3 bedwetters.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Was it really then? It was definitely. So the first. Yeah, I'll have to look it up because we nearly called you Mayo because that used to be your nickname. Mayo 23 or whatever.
God, he actually wouldn't be with Grace right now.
GPES 13. No, I think that a GPES 13 would date a Mayo 23.
Mayo 23. Yeah, definitely.
George, what was your Hotmail growing up? Did you have a Hotmail?
Yeah, still got it for my Facebook. chicken_drumsticks8@hotmail.com.
Yes. Shannon, what was yours? I feel like you'd have a funny one.
This is the funny thing. Shannon's still rocking. I mean, for Queensland, not to slam Queensland, but you guys still use Hotmail in Queensland.
Yes. You know what? To be fair, I thought about that when you quickly called me this afternoon about being on the show, and I was like, just send the link through to the email, and then I thought,
it's a Hotmail.
This isn't going to be good. I'm going to get pushback from the Hotmail because I don't have a @shannontilton.com.
No, I just feel like a Gmail would be a little bit classier. No, but I appreciate it.
True. Actually, we use our Gmails for our business, like any business sort of stuff that we do for my partner's engineering consultancy firm.
But keep the Hotmail for some of your more casual stuff,
Sure. Answering the question, Tommy, I had a very, very basic Hotmail address when I was growing up, and this actually reminded me the other day when you were talking about should you buy Jackett.com. Not that my mum bought me a .com, but my mum, when I was I'm trying to think, maybe 10 or 11 or whenever it is that you sort of need to start having an email account for subscriptions or whatever, she actually just got me shannontilney@hotmail.com. And I was like, that's so basic. Great. Like all my friends, I know. Now I look back and I'm like, thank God.
What an investment. It could have been an index fund, but you got a Hotmail. I think it's great.
Sure.
Thanks, really compounding.
The nightmare is, though, logging into it. Now it's Outlook. It's Microsoft. And I had my Hotmail account connected to my Skype, and I had the wrong backup number. It was a nightmare to get back into it. But I always wanted to know who has I am at symbol Hotmail. I am a Hotmail.
Oh yeah.
That was all.
Someone.
That was
Did you try and get it?
Someone's got
George? Can you just email them right now and say, "Who are you?"
Who dis?
Yeah.
It'll go to spam.
From my big media company email address, or
you could do that.
Absolutely not. No,
I'm sure you'll fuck it up with some sort of autoresponder that will see us bring down the whole G Suite. But Shannon, on the nostalgia, I mean, the Hotmail stuff has the nostalgia vibe. This morning I was watching all the old Tony Hawk pro skateboarders as I was getting all the DHL stuff ready. What were the games? What were you playing when you were younger?
I was definitely a Sims kid, like PC Sims.
Yeah, great.
I was a Nintendo 64 kid, so like your Donkey Kongs, your Duke Nukem's, that sort of stuff. else? And then you sort of handheld switches or whatever they used to be back in the day too. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, like Donkey Kong. Wow.
Yeah, I feel like
yesterday's episode, I was like, wow, how good are all these games everyone's talking about?
there's a great
And the
doco.
Barbie one.
Have you watched King of Kong, the documentary of the guys that have it out for Donkey Kong? It's a great doco.
No.
It's got
Is it on
everything.
Netflix?
I don't think it's on Netflix.
It's about the people who can clock the game, isn't it?
Yeah, but it was back in the day where it was like you'd go to the arcade machines, and so these guys in their late 30s or whatever, it's getting into
absolute losers unless this doco came out.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
there's so many. I mean, there's so many examples of that, right? Where it's like you're a loser until a doco comes out about you.
Yeah. The murder wasn't worth it until you got a Netflix special.
Well, you think about all the Tiger King stuff. Like that would have, without the doco, I don't know if it would have been as big a thing. But Shannon,
was there as much rah-rah around Steve Jobs? Sorry to interrupt you. Was there as much rah-rah around Steve Jobs as pre the movie? Like,
I mean, I mean, I don't even remember the Steve Jobs movie. I mean, I think that it was when he died, it was a big deal. Like, it was always I'd wake up in the morning and at 3 a.m. and watch the keynotes and stuff. Like that was a big thing where it's
less stuff.
Product or whatever.
Yeah. There's been less stuff about Tim Cook, I reckon. Like no one really knows that name.
Yeah.
Compared to Steve.
Well, Donald Trump called him Tim Apple accidentally in a press conference.
Such a good troll.
It's an accident, I think. I don't think he even meant it. But Shannon, to outsource, George is very big. George, how are you feeling, by the way? Because you've got a lot of work in the next week and a half.
Yeah, feeling pretty under the pump. But it should be all right.
Prosecco helps.
And so, to outsource some work, Shannon, what do you think are some highlights because you were WhatsApping me. When was the first time you started listening to the show? Do you remember?
So I figured out that because I first started listening when Stace was first on the show, because I was a very big Stacey June, Krista Mercer, Thinker Girls fan back in the day. And I went back to actually find the date, and it was August 2018 when she was first on with you guys. I think it was episode 153. Mm-hmm. Josh, you must have had, I went back and listened to that exact episode as well before Stace came on yesterday. You must have had, you sounded so sick, either sick or really, really young. Yeah, go back and listen. You almost, if I had have just heard that with no context, I wouldn't have even thought it was you.
We're just sort of becoming men. You're watching the evolution of boys becoming men. When are you going to become a man, George?
I don't know, never. I was thinking maybe that that could have been the time when you were recording 7 shows a day or whatever before you went overseas.
I reckon. So if it was Stacey, I was remote. I reckon I lost my voice.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you were remote and Stacey was in the studio with Tommy.
Yeah, I think that it could have been the week that I was in Krakow in Poland. That's when I got really sick. Do you remember that, TJ? Yeah, my voice went.
So funny.
It was a nightmare.
And then my voice went in New York. It was payback.
Yeah,
because I was laughing so hard at your voice.
But so, Shannon, to give George a bit of slack, and he might even be able to edit this in to save some time for him too, what have been some of your highlights from the Daily Talk Show?
Just since I've been listening?
Yes.
Okay,
it's a long time.
It is a long time.
And I understand it's the equivalent of sort of saying what's your favourite thing about me, but go with it and just,
I'll go with it for your sake. I'm going to say that who was definitely all of Stacey's episodes, just because I just love everything that she puts out, and I've just learned so much from her. I really enjoyed recent times. I really enjoyed Shane Jacobson. I'd never, blasphemy, but I had never ever seen Kenny. I don't know, for whatever reason. I went back and watched it after that episode. I know, how un-Australian. Oh my goodness. I went back and watched it after that episode and I was in tears. I was just like, oh my God, this is the best. How has anybody let me live to 29 years old and I've never seen Kenny?
Really? I can't remember. What were you crying about? What was the actual... what was the emotional
through the
bit?
episode, I don't know. No, just more of a overall.
Okay.
Yeah, no, more of just an overall. After having listened to the episode earlier during the day, I was just like, this man is an absolute national treasure. Like, he's the best.
He's great.
Yeah, I really enjoy the perspective into the media industry, and when you guys do go deep and talk about radio, so you Craig Bruce's, those sorts of episodes where it's like a little peek behind the curtain and we kind of get to see what you guys worked through and, just how it all works. And it's really interesting just for a general punter to sort of, hear a conversation. I mean, the podcast ranker was an absolute highlight. I mean, just
thank you.
That really delivered. I mean,
and this is why we love you, Shannon.
Podcast ranker.
This is why we love you.
What's happening
You
with the
refer to yourself.
podcast ranker?
Yeah, the ranker's a bit of a it's a bit of a joke at the moment. But you're a fan of Ash Williams. What do you think about
Ash Williams? Nah, he's out. He's in the bin. Get him
the
fucking
feud
bin,
in the bin?
Nah. Yeah, in the bin. I mean, I used to like him to a degree because I was just like, this guy is cracked. Like, what? And you know what? I've stopped listening to his podcast just because sometimes I'm like, wow, I feel dumber for having listened to this shit. It's not even like in the background. I just feel stupider. But I have to admit, I do enjoy listening to Team Effort from time to time where Ed just tears shreds off him. Like, just excellent. And Tony, they're so funny when they just absolutely drill it into the ground. It's that good. I really enjoy that. But yeah,
anything else you hate about Ash?
I think he's probably not like deep down a shit bloke, but he just comes across lately like sort of, I don't know, too good for you guys.
That's what I like people that like me. And so Ash, if you want to like me, I'll like you.
It's an unconditional friendship. Although there is one condition: you don't like me.
Yeah, I think that's fair. No?
That's part of friendship, right?
What did you think, Ash, about the cutting off thing? We talked about this morning. We talked about cutting friends up, just cutting people out. What do you think?
I can swing both ways. I can be so brutal and just say to somebody, that was absolutely rubbish what you did, and now we're not friends. Get out of my face and vicinity of my body. Or I can also go to people and just fade them out. If it's not as a severe sort of situation, if it's just a distant, sort of people growing apart, and that's okay. I think that's fine. I think pretty cliche, but the whole reason, season, lifetime, some people are there for a short amount of time, some people are there for a little bit longer, and then other people are in your life forever. And I really try and adopt that where I can in my life, because I just don't have time. That's the thing that I realize as I get older. I mean, I'm only 29, but I'm like, I just don't have time for time wasters. I just need to be serious about the people that are in my life, because life's too short and we all know that. And it's like, I just want to be surrounded by people that love me and support me and want the best for me. And if that's not you, then that's it. Either fade away or, if something shitty goes down, you just have the tough conversation and hit the nail on the head so everybody knows where they stand. And that's it. That's how I do it.
Can we get an update, Josh?
Yeah.
Josh, have you got a response from Ash Williams? You called him.
Has anybody? Did you, 97?
No.
Did you even message Sebs? I feel like you would have pussied out.
No, I did message.
Oh, it's the new year.
I said I haven't heard. He didn't. The thing is, he didn't reply to my previous text either, so it's it wasn't looking good to start with.
Yeah.
But I like that. Yeah, go on, Tej.
Ignore the first one, and then you never have to write back to another one because they
doesn't exist. Now, I remember my mum saying, because a guy named Robert called my house once, and we had caller ID. I loved call. Did you, Shannon, when you were a kid, did you have caller ID?
Absolutely.
It's so good. And so when we got caller ID, I remember Robert called me. But it was weird because when I answered it was Lachlan's phone number. Anyway, I'm like, oh, hey, Robert. He's like, oh, hey, how you going? I'm like, yeah, good. What are you up to? He's like, oh, not much. He's like, what do you think of Lachlan? I was like, hang on. I know what's going on here. Lachlan's on the other line and he's trying to get dirt. And so I hung up and I told Mum what happened. And then they called back. That was a big mistake. They called back. And Mum picked up. And she says, she said, if you want to be his friend, be his friend. Otherwise, stop calling. And so I feel like that's a nice sort of story for life, really.
Why were they trying to catch you out? I hadn't thought about it in this way. Why did they think you were going to rag on Lachlan?
Well, because Lachlan and I had a love-hate relationship. He's the one who tried to make me fat by feeding me soft drink while he was drinking water at his house. And him and I were both chubby and he lost a bunch of weight.
That's got real Mean Girl vibes where they feed Caddy feeds Regina George the protein bars, but they're like full fat.
Oh, it definitely had
real
that
Mean Girl vibes.
I was definitely his fat friend.
Real Josh Janssen and Tommy Jackett relationship vibes. Yeah. I fed you a whole packet of lollies in the car. And Mason was in on that too. So
no, it was good gear. If it's for content, it's fine.
Yeah,
But,
he might have been recording it, mate. Might have been. I once back in the day, you used to be able to record on the old Nokias. You could record conversations. Like now, you need another app. But back in the day, it used to beep every 30 seconds. I think it was like a way that they were, got around it by people knowing. And I was on this conversation with this guy, and it was pretty heated. And he just halfway through said, "What the fuck is that beat? What is?" He was so angry. I was like, "Mate, I don't know. I don't hear it." But I got exactly what I wanted.
Well, I had an issue before where I said to Siri, "Hey, call." I was trying to organise Jace Hawkins for the 24-hour stream, and so I told Siri, "Hey, call him." And the thing is, though, you can't hang up without touching your phone. Like you can't tell Siri to turn it off. And so I was driving. It went to voicemail, and then a cop was next to me. And so I'm like, "Hey, mate, I can't actually touch my phone right now. It's JJ, but you can hang up. I'll finish this when I can. But hope you're having a good day." And it probably went for about 2 minutes.
That's the best.
That's all right.
Hopefully he listens to it. Anyway, I got to go I'm out the front of my son's daycare, and I've got to run in and get the little monster.
Great. All right, great. Any final words? Anyone, George? What's any thoughts in your head?
No, not really. Thanks for those ideas, Shannon. Because tomorrow's going to be the day. I'm going to be putting together the weekend shows.
I'll send some more through too. I was actually going through my Instagram highlights recently to look at some old baking stuff that I had done, and I actually found maybe a year ago I did a full day of just screenshotting the podcast that I usually listen to and putting them on my Insta stories, just because I always get heaps of friends asking me who do I listen to throughout the day. And I'll have to send you a DM, Josh, of what I wrote about you guys. I can't even remember. I think it was just two random guys talking absolute smack. I don't even know what they're on about, but it's fantastic. And it was just like a year ago. It was so good. I was like,
you always had Tommy's back. You were always getting the DMs if you thought I was being mean to Tommy. Do you remember that?
Sometimes you need to know, JJ. Sometimes you need to go when you go in on people, because you go in on people. You really do.
Yeah, but so you're
I love you both equally, but yeah.
Do you have you ever sent TJ a DM? Have you pulled up TJ yet?
No, because
Mr. Perfect.
Maybe I can't remember. Mr. Perfect. He's pretty self-aware, Tommy. I think, especially especially after the last year. I'm trying to think of times where.
Well, you don't think I'm self-aware? I'm fucking self-aware. I know I'm.
Yeah, you're self-aware. understand. Yeah, I understand. You are self-aware to an extent, but I think it's a reflection thing for you. I think it's a reflection thing. Later on, you go back and you're like, yes.
Maybe.
But I think Tommy can do it very well in the moment. He's very good at diffusing situations.
He loves
yeah,
it.
give him a pump up every now and then.
We wouldn't have survived. We
had some good blow-ups. I wish we recorded. My favourite blow-up very quickly before you go was the one where we were having a yelling match out the front of there was a garage door, and we didn't realise that on the other side of the garage door there was a whole office, and a bunch of and someone just banged on it and said, "Move on." And and it's very hard when you get told off by someone else when you're mid-argument. But very quickly, you'll love this, TJ. Sarah has just said in the comments, Ash better call you or I'm cancelling my Patreon. And so, look, we don't want Ash to be losing money. We don't want him to be losing money. That's definitely not the plan. But, Sarah, we've got to back that. I think
Dr. K this morning said we should report Ash to the IRS.
The ATO.
Yeah, the ATO, we could definitely...
I'm sure the ATO are across him, to be honest. I don't think
Yeah, they have their number. They have his number, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to make money to have to pay tax. So All right. Anyway, it's a daily talk show. Thank you, Shannon, for coming on the show. We're looking forward to the cocktails. We're going to get all around that. And good job, George, on the hump day. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Is Crystal Andrews on in the morning?
Yes, Crystal's on. Yeah.
Crystal's on.
All right. Quick update from me.
Yes.
I don't think there'll be a hump day next week. Just because, the shows are going to be different this week.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's going to be... Well, it's going to be George all
it's going to be me all week.
It's going to be George all week.
From Saturday till Sunday. So
maybe we should do
the highlights will
the
just be
following week. We should do a hump day on you of George. Yeah. But it sounds like too much work. I'm already bored of it. So, all right.
Love you guys.
Have a good one. Daily Talk Show. See ya.